CNN's data guru is speechless after polling finds Trump headed for historic performance with black voters. Biden's support from black voters under the age of 50 has cratered over the last 4 years. It's amazing. We got the video clip here. The Daily Caller has posted it. Let me get this going for you guys. Listen to this.
CNN senior data reporter Harry Etten is with us. So where does the race stand among African-American voters right now?
Yeah, I keep looking for this to change, to go back to a historical norm, and it simply put has not yet. So this is the margin, or Biden and Trump among black voters, compare where we were at this point in 2020, compare where we are now. You know, at this point, look at this. In 2020, Joe Biden was getting 86% of the African-American vote. Look at where it is now. It's 70%. That's a 16-point drop, John. And more than that, it's not just that Joe Biden is losing ground. It's that Donald Trump is gaining ground. You go from 7%, single digits at this point in 2020, to now 21%. And again, John, I keep looking for signs that this is going to go back to normal, and I don't see it yet in the polling. If anything, right now we're careening towards a historic performance for Republican presidential candidate, the likes of which we have not seen in 6 decades.
And when you dig into this number
From
here,
CNN, no
what is the makeup of that number?
This is where we get very interesting. So I decided to dive deeper into the crosstabs, figure out where is it that Joe Biden is truly struggling among black voters. All right, so this is black voters, Biden versus Trump margin. Look at black voters age 50 and older, and you'll see, look, Joe Biden was leading amongst this group at this point by 83 points back in 2020. Now it's 74 points. So, yeah, a slight decline in that margin, but nothing out of this world. Look at black voters under the age of 50. Holy cow, folks. Holy cow. Look at this. Joe Biden was up by 80 points among this group back at this point in 2020. Look at where that margin has careened down towards. It's now just, get this, 37 points. That lead has dropped by more than half, Mr. Berman. I just never seen anything like this. I'm like speechless, because you always look at history and you go, okay, this is a historic moment. If this polling is anywhere near correct, we are looking at a historic moment right now where black voters under the age of 50, which have historically been such a big part of the Democratic coalition,
You're gonna love this,
are leaving it in droves.
That is a huge drop over a 4-year period, at least right now. All right, what's the impact of third-party candidacies here? Robert Kennedy Jr.
Yeah, all right, so obviously we have third-party candidates this year with the...
I don't really care that much about the third-party stuff. I'm building the suspense for you, and now I'm going to drop the bomb. Here you go, everybody. From the Washington Post, this story just came, as I record this early because it's a Friday segment. Trump world keeps overstating Trump support among black voters. Trump world? Since when is CNN Trump world? Y'all are in a delusional state. Now, I will be fair. I do not believe Trump gets 21% of the black vote. If that's true, he cannot lose, at least according to various academics and statisticians and pollsters. The argument goes that if Democrats ever dip below 80, or more important, if Democrats dip below 80% black support, they cannot win. And if Donald Trump is at 21 and Biden's dropped down to, 76? Is that where they have him? Or is it 74%? That's it. It's over. They say this every time. I don't believe it. But you just heard CNN go off about this. And now you've got this, look, from the New Republic. Trump visits Detroit to court black voters and flops big time. Really? He was getting a lot of praise from them. I don't know if you can say it's flopping big time, but he's doing well enough. At least he's trying. Let's play more.
Two major party candidates being so disliked. All right, so this is black voters, Biden versus Trump in the battleground states. This was according to a poll last month from the New York Times, Siena College. Again, looks very similar to what we see nationally, right? Joe Biden at 63, a very poor position for a Democratic candidate. Donald Trump at 23%. If we add Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to this, look at where Joe Biden drops to.
Wow.
Less than half the vote among black voters. Less than half the
This guy's freaking out.
In the battleground states. Donald Trump drops as well to 14%, so not quite nearly as historic. But look at this, RFK with 11%. You basically have a legitimate sort of three-way race here. Yeah, Joe Biden well ahead, but with less than 50% of the vote. John, I never thought I would see something like this among black voters.
And for those questioning who Robert Kennedy would hurt more, at least in these numbers, in this measurement right here, Biden loses 14, Trump loses 9. So it's clearly Joe Biden.
It's exactly right. It seems to me this is, yes, it's partially a artifact of Donald Trump perhaps being better liked among black voters, but it's also a real artifact of Joe Biden being significantly less liked among black voters than he was 4 years ago.
Harriet.
Yo, homie's brain don't work. Anybody can see it. And I think a lot of the younger black voters are not viewing it as being a younger black voter. I think what we've seen in the polls and what they've reported, and this may be not true, is that older black voters view themselves as a block based on race. Younger black voters, in my opinion, probably less so. Seriously. I think what you end up seeing is these videos you get of like the man on the street interview. It's people saying like, dude, the economy's messed up. Dude, it's black voters not coming out saying, what's Trump going to do for black people? Certainly that exists, but you do see a lot of these videos. So I have to wonder if that's the bifurcation. Under 50, the internet generation is getting access to all this information, and they're seeing things like black guns matter, Maj Touré. Not saying that his base is all about voting for Donald Trump. They're more libertarian leaning. So they do have a lot of these social justice concerns, not nearly as crazy as woke people, but they want gun rights. They look at Donald Trump, they look at Joe Biden, they're like, what Joe Biden's done is not helping us. You get a lot of people that are coming out and speaking to these younger black men who are not even black. Donald Trump coming out and going to the black community, and they say he's flopping miserably. What's Joe Biden doing? What have Democrats ever done? Donald Trump had that pitch where he was like, vote for me. What have you got to lose? I haven't done anything for you in the past, several decades. So here you are. But this is the play that Donald Trump makes. I will stress, I think the younger generation of black voters don't care as much about race. I think they care about race. I think a lot of people care about race. But I think they're probably approaching this from the least racist position than we've ever seen for any voting bloc. And what I mean is relative to where the position was before, not. I think a lot of people in this country vote based on race. I think you can look at Chicago and see that data. Here's what the New Republic said. Trump held a roundtable meeting, let's zoom in a little bit, at a black church in Detroit over the weekend that perfectly summarized Trump's snake oil tendencies. With vastly inflated audience numbers, at least half of whom were white, and Trump ranting his staple complaints about the border, inflation, and crime. Trump allies praised Trump's appearance on Saturday at 180 Church as a smashing success, with Kellyanne Conway claiming over 8,000 people magically packed into the rows and seats where only a few hundred could have sat. Even as many pews remained empty. Let's see what you got here. It's going to be a tweet. I knew it. Let's show the picture. We always want to show the picture. So another pan of the congregation as Ben Carson speaks at Trump's Detroit church event. I don't know. Okay. It's not 8,000 for sure. You got, looks like you got, I don't know, it looks like a mixed race. You got white people, you got black people. I don't see what the issue is. If Kellyanne Conway actually claimed there were 8,000 people at that event, she was wrong. Reuters notes the venue wasn't at capacity by the time the roundtable began. I'm going to go ahead and just stress, I don't care. If Kellyanne Conway is wrong about the event venue size, call her out for it. I see Donald Trump coming to these events. So look at this. Man, calm down. And talking to people and asking, like, what can I do? What can I do? I see Joe Biden, AWOL. Where's he at? Basement campaigning? I don't know why anyone would believe that a vote for Joe Biden is going to do something for them. You had one post where a young guy said, I'm sick of this administration. I just want a country for myself and my family. I want to buy a house. And some liberal was like, what is the president going to do about that? And I think it might have been J.D. Vance who said this, but it's a very obvious answer. It's like, well, border security, for one, will reduce pressure on entry-level jobs and the housing market and apartments. Not dumping hundreds of billions in foreign wars is going to keep American labor in the country and trade value in the country, and buying power will stay stronger. And that's just two. You've got the Trans-Pacific Partnership as an example of one thing Trump did to better American workers. They were going to give corporate rights to foreign countries over the United States. That's insane. Trump renegotiated it was a North American trade agreement. You had NAFTA, and now you have the U.S. I think it's called the USMCA, the U.S. Mexico-Canada agreement, I think it was called. And it was much better for the United States. Some might argue. But I think ultimately what you vote for a president for is foreign policy. And right now our big money toilet is foreign policy, and our risk for war is foreign policy, and it gets you there very, very easily. So you want to rag on Trump. You want to say he's flopping. You want to say they're overstating. Tell it to CNN, ladies and gentlemen. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.